Hello, my name is Matt Robin.
I'm Candace Jordan.
I'm Bill Breishler.
Chaya Chachitator.
I'm Maria Rivera.
I'm Mimi Marks, and I am your neighbor.
And I am your neighbor.
Today, I Am Your Neighbor is interviewing Paul Nickerson of Treehouse Humane Society. They place feral cats in individual homes, businesses, and private yards as a solution to Chicago's rat problem. I met Paul about a year and a half ago when we got feral cats put into our own yard. We're in North Center. Now, Paul says most cats are on the south side of the city and the west side of the city. Paul is cool because he does this on his own. He's been a one-man shop for the last few years for Treehouse. And he comes out, he sets up the crates, he places the cats, he follows up with people. We're on a Saturday right now at noon, and this guy is out placing a cat. He's awesome. Let's go inside and see what's going on and how this goes about. The temporary housing location where the cats will be contained and fed should be off the beaten path, quiet and solitary. And they're gonna go over here on the side?
Yeah, they're gonna go under the stairs.
Smart.
Treehouse Humane Society, I manage a program called Cats at Work program, and it's a program whereby feral cats that most certainly would be put down if they don't have a home. There's a strong demand in Chicago because of the rat problem. There's people that want those cats in their on their property to help patrol and get rid of the rat situation.
And what is the rat situation like? Are there any sort of numbers? I mean, can you describe it in your own words? The city of Chicago's rat problem?
You know, there's maps that people have done that have mapped out the rat calls to 311, and it actually mirrors my activity a lot. The people that call me come from generally three neighborhoods: Logan Square, Lincoln Park, and Rogers Park. And if you look on the maps that people have done for calls to 311 about rats, those three hotspots are the hottest areas in the city. And just knowing what I know about the feral cat population, most of the feral cats in Chicago are on the west and the south side. And if you look at the rat map, the least amount of calls for rats are on the west and the south side. So I think there's a correlation between feral cat density and the rat population.
How did Treehouse get involved?
It came about, there's always been a need to relocate feral cats. Feral cats are the first cats that get put down because they can't become house pets because they're not socialized to human. And oftentimes they go crazy if they're put indoors, confined, and they just, all they do is try to get out. So there was always been a need for homes for feral cats that need to be relocated. And long before this program came about, there's been barn cat programs in more rural areas, and for I think at least 10 or 12,000 years, humans have domesticated cats or vice versa, and agrarian cultures, societies, whereby they would protect grain stores from rats and rodents and everything. And it's just basically an urban example of a barn cat program.
And so has Treehouse always been a part of handling feral cats, or is this new with them since the city's rat population came about?
No, actually Treehouse has been always involved. Their biggest focus has always been dealing with the cats that have the highest needs: stray cats, sick or injured cats, elderly cats. What's been becoming common for feral cat controlling the population of the feral cat is something called trap, neuter, return. So you go out to an area, there's 50 cats living in a high density in a certain area. You trap all the cats, you spay and neuter them, you release them, they stop reproducing, and then oftentimes it's difficult or impossible to re-release the cats because they're in danger. Someone's threatening to kill them or shoot them or poison them, or construction in the area. So oftentimes those are the cats that we use for this program because they need to be relocated.
Got it. And what is this setup that you bring out to every placement of cats? So you've got a big crate here, it looks like.
Yes, there's 2 crates that we zip tie together.
Okay.
We have to zip tie all the connections because the cats are master escape artists. If we were to just take a cat and plop them down in the backyard somewhere, they would immediately take off and try to find their own territory. So we have to give them an opportunity to get used to the sights and the sounds, the new area, and also they get used to being fed regularly twice a day while they're in the acclimation phase, and it kind of keeps them around the area because they have a steady meal. Before the invention of kitty litter, all cats were indoor-outdoor cats. Once kitty litter came about, people started having cats indoors only, so it took a lot of the cat population and brought them indoors. But I think a combination of the invention of kitty litter and Humane Societies recommending that cats should only be indoors might be a contributing factor in why there's so many rats on the streets in urban environments. You know, I can estimate based on rat burrows. The big pile of dirt is the front door of the burrow. That's where the rat starts kicking the dirt out of the burrow. And then the back door is just a hole in the dirt, and that height. And that has no pile of dirt. That's their back door. So if you count the large piles of dirt, you can estimate how many rats might be in there. So there's 2 large piles of dirt, so 8 to 20 rats per pile. I would say 75% of the cats stick around. Cats are wild animals. They can choose to live wherever they want.
Right.
So I always try to set the right expectation with the clients so that so that they're not blindly getting into this thinking, oh yeah, the cats are going to stay around forever.
Right, plus you can't control the clients because, all of us could wake up late one day and forget to feed the cats or go on vacation and forget to get someone to take care of them.
There's so many variables.
And my last question to you is, we've talked a little bit about your story and you've shown me about the book that you were quoted in, but how you get paid for this job, correct?
Yes,
this is your job. This is your career.
Yes.
And has it always been that, or did it start as a volunteer basis?
It started as a volunteer. When that book was written by Dr. Beal, it was the inception, kind of the baby steps of the program. I was one of the first people, and Dr. Beal was one of the first people to get cats through the program at a residence. And the program's been around for about 5 years. So I got my cats, and I'm living proof how successful it is with how bad my problem was.
The moment of truth is come. It's time to put Xena and her food into her crate. After about a month, the door will be left open and Xena will be a free agent to pounce on rats and any other rodents that come her way. Let's hope she always comes home for dinner to man her territory. Next time on I Am Your Neighbor, join me for the annual Midnight Bike Ride led by Loyola professor Timothy Guilfoyle as he takes us on a 35-mile history of Chicago lesson overnight.
Reading Chad Heath's book about Tower Town.
If you need a friend,